access it through a moon gate, which is another thing they had, moon gates that open in specific places in the world based on the actual moon phase, which is, is actually occurring in the game. Totally awesome. That one, the Shrine of Spirituality is a bit of a spoiler, but whatever. It's a 20-year-old game, so suck it up. I think it's the Shrine of Spirituality. It's only on the astral plane, basically. So you have to go through a moon gate, and then you're sort of outside the normal world. Really awesome. Of course, the music of Ultima is also legendary. Really great music, themes that stick in your head forever. That kind of thing. Damn, I mean, there's just nothing about it that isn't top notch. So, let's see. Pretty much covers Ultima mostly, I guess. I mean, there's more I can discuss about it, but that's kind of the heart of it. That was 15 minutes. So I'll talk a bit about Nethack, I guess. Nethack is also awesome, equally legendary in its own way. It is... I'm not sure if I can... I don't know. I tend to stare at my own eyes when I'm recording these. I guess I should technically stare at the camera thing, but whatever. I'll stick with what works for me. Yeah, so Nethack's been around for quite a long time. It's based on... It's what they call a roguelike game because of an old... early game called Rogue, but basically it's all, and of course they're all in the Dungeons and Dragons model, and in this case explicitly, it's a dungeon game. You're literally going down. Also, Hack was an early variant. You're going down in the ground, into a dungeon, into a maze filled with monsters and treasure and adventure. A classic theme, and an awesome one. Never get tired of that. The thing about Nethack is it's all in, it doesn't have really graphics. It just has little ASCII characters. Very simple, but what's awesome about it is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it doesn't have graphics in it. Pretty much no sound, though I think some versions you can have a little bit of sound. Because, of course, it's like anything in reality. Everything is symbolic. All art is symbolic. Frankly, people don't really understand this, but typically. But what you see in the real world, your visuals that you're actually seeing the real world, that is technically symbolic too, because everyone has different perception. You're not actually perceiving what is there. You're perceiving a version of what is there. So Nethack is no different. So when you see a large, an uppercase D in Nethack, that's a dragon, and you're like, holy fucking shit! Even though, it's just an uppercase D, but the thing is, it acts like a dragon. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of the game, it can fly, it can breathe fire, it can rip the shit out of you, it can lay eggs if it's female, you can, if you kill it, you can make, magic armor out of its scales. It's basically a friggin' dragon. So... if it acts like a dragon, then it is a dragon. That's pretty much the law. So Nethack. So the real thing about Nethack though is that it's very simple, as I said. No real graphics and everything. But the way it gets around, why it's legendary. The reason how it gets around that without the flash is, again, it's a bit like Ultima in that it acts like it's real. It's like Nethack is insanely detailed code-wise, object-oriented code-wise. So when you have an object in the game, you can do anything with it, like anything you could logically do. Like if you have a potion of oil, you can drink it where it'll say, ooh, that's smooth. But you can use it to grease a weapon. You can use it to grease an object or a piece of armor, which will protect it against water. You can use it to remove rust from an item. You can use it to pour the oil into a lamp and use it to burn that. You can do anything with that flask of oil that you could actually do with a flask of oil in the in the context of the Nethack environment. And every object is like that, so they all interact. Like you can mix potions, they can get diluted, just as an example of potions. But every object in the game is like that. You know what I mean? Everything is like that, like shape changing. There's no stupid artificial limits like in most games. Like there's shape shifting in Nethack because there's different ways of interacting with things that'll change your shape, like a wand of polymorph or a spell of polymorph or a polymorph trap. So often a strategy in Nethack, say you find a polymorph trap, you do certain things to minimize the possible negatives, like maybe set up some positive scenarios in the surroundings just to protect yourself. Maybe you have your pet or whatever to defend your ass if you get turned into something pathetic. but you might, a lot of that's how people, get ahead in NetHack is they like just like in in a role playing game, they exploit the environment to their advantage. So a polymorph trap, they keep jumping on it until, oh my god, you turn into a red dragon. Awesome. If you're female, you can lay eggs, you can keep them, and when the eggs hatch, because you're carrying them, the baby dragons are automatically your pet essentially, which means they'll roam around and they won't attack you, but they'll attack other stuff depending on their alignment and again, very realistic. They won't attack monsters will attack things depending on how tough they are compared to what they're attacking. Some of them are more aggressive, some are less aggressive. Of course, there's alignment, so neutral things generally won't attack each other. Lawful things won't. Chaotic things might attack anything, even other chaotic, because that's the way they are. So on and so on. So NetHack is insane detail like that. That's the general. Then the specific is, it's incredibly deep. Like it's got like I can't remember how many levels you have to go down before you start hitting the sort of it's a random dungeon until you get to certain levels where it becomes their specific stuff. There's quests in it. There's the point of NetHack is technically is the Amulet of Yendor, which is this just it's a MacGuffin. It's just an object to give you something to go after. But you do have to go after it in the game if you want to win. But every class actually, and you only learn this. That's the thing about NetHack too, is when you go in it and you don't know anything about it, you'll literally die probably within the first minute. You'll just die because you don't know what you're doing. You'll eat something random. You'll get poisoned. You'll drop dead. You'll run out of food. You can die in many, like literally thousands and thousands of horrible ways. It's amazing how many different ways you can die. But you can tell it's a real skill game because it's about your knowledge. The more knowledge you have, like eventually I'm like, gee, this is I used to think this was insanely hard. It's still hard, but it's not insanely hard. It's all your knowledge. You're like, oh yeah, you know that you don't do this, you know that you don't do that, you know that you should do this before doing that. It's experience. You're an experienced adventurer in NetHack. You have a much better survival rate. Of course, what always kills you in NetHack is carelessness. You can actually play and have a pretty good chance of surviving, unless you get, unlucky, which can happen. But the way you die is you will play too much. You'll get tired. You'll just be playing, and you'll just be hitting the button to do whatever, and you won't be watching your hit points. You won't be, thinking about the environment, and boom, all of a sudden you're dead. And I swear, I felt a physical shock when I've died in NetHack. Like when I've spent, hours playing some character, and I've got all this stuff and everything, and I'm like, dude, and then I'm like, you are dead, and I'm like, I felt like it's like my whole body jumped, like I felt like I'd been stabbed, and I was like, what? And then I'm like, oh fuck, I wasn't paying attention to my hit points, and I was fighting a rat, and it got in a lucky hit and took my last hit point, and I'm dead, and that's it. That's NetHack. You're screwed, because the way NetHack is played, you can save your game. You can stop and save your game and come back to it. But when you die, you die. Like, you don't go, do you want to go back to your save game? When you die, the game erases your save. Actually, sorry, when you load up, it erases your save. You only have a save when you're not playing it. And most people aren't used to that. But what it does is, wow, again, it makes it real, because it's like, you can't just, oh, I died, and then, you can do that, because you can just grab your save file, and, that's technically cheating. But, that's fine early on, whatever, that's just training. But if you actually want to win that hack, that's an accomplishment. That's called, because that's the point of the game. The point of the game is to get the amulet, and we have 6 minutes left here. The point of the game is to get the amulet of Yendor to your god, and to get it to your god, you actually have to get it to this special place that has an altar to your god, and you have to sacrifice it. And if you do so, and everything, you get through all the challenges, and you have to fight the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, amongst other things, before you get there. If you get all the way, it's called ascending, because that's what happens. Your character doesn't die, but they go on the roll of, the high score list, so to speak. And most of your characters end up on the dead list. It's very interesting. Such and such character, here's the stats. He did this, died from choking on a muffin. That can happen. I find often the way I die is I'm paralyzed by something, and I end up getting nibbled to death by some creature. because there's a creature called a floating eye in the game, and it's very easy to kill. It's harmless, but if you attack it directly without any special method, then you have a pretty good chance of being you know fascinated by its gaze, and you're essentially helpless for like up to 30 turns. So you'll just be again, you'll be going do, go left, go left, go left, go left, floating eye, go left. Oh fuck, paralyzed. There's a rat. Hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you, hits you. Misses you, misses, hits you, hits you, hits you, misses, hits, dead. So and so died by being bitten to death by a rat while helpless. Happens all the fucking time. It's very annoying. Anyway, so if you ascending, I've ascended once, and I did not cheat. I just, played a lot, played cautiously, got lucky, whatever. I did it with the easiest character class. I think it was a barbarian or a Valkyrie. They're the easiest because of their starting setup, and they're tough and strong and all that. And I've never ascended with a wizard, which is my usual character class. Wizards are really hard to play. They have a huge disadvantage early on. It's just like D&D. They're weak as crap until they get powered up, and then they're awesome because you have spells, and you can just blast like crazy. But it's really tough early on. Your wizards will almost always die before they get anywhere because casting spells uses up food energy. And food is a big thing in the game because you're in this dungeon. It's not like there's a McDonald's around for you to go to. So and carrying things, of course, you've only got so much carrying capacity. So wizards I find often will starve to death too because you'll blast things and you'll run out of magic and you're hungry and you can't just hack shit up with an axe like a barbarian. So it's tough. You really got to play smart if you want to play a wizard, which is logical. So anyway, almost done. So NetHack is really rocking, and it's still fun to this day. Playing on a Mac, I actually reloaded it and started up a game with a random character, and I got an archaeologist, which is of course based on the cliches. You've got a fedora and a whip, and it's basically you're Indiana Jones, and it was pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I just wish I'm using a little keyboard here without a number pad. It's kind of friggin' irritating actually because actually I should just pull out one of my old keyboards with a number pad actually because it'll work on this Mac. But it's kind of annoying because I don't have a nice, easy to control direction thing. So I'm always going like, where am I going? Anyway, but that's a really fun game. So I'll talk about some other games some other time because Andrew wants to know, or people want to know anyway. So almost at 30 minutes. We'll see about the upload thing, and then I guess I'll record maybe a half-hour link dump, and just got a whole bunch of lots of interesting stuff in there, and I'll just chat about that. Alrighty, so talk to you later. Bradley out.